United Auto Workers President Shawn Fain is chiming in on President Trump's drive to bring auto manufacturing back to the U.S. Fain says the American auto companies should be focusing on facilities that are already ready for production instead of laying off employees like Stellantis, which he's calling more of the same from them. Fain even pointing to the former GM Lordstown plant, saying that it could pick up some of the slack to onshore U.S. manufacturing. Auto analyst and owner and creator of the Car Coach, Lauren Fix, is joining us here now to weigh in. Fain says that some U.S. plants have excess capacity all over the country, pointing to plants in Michigan and here in Lordstown, Ohio. How feasible is it for the automakers to do that since the plant was a full assembly plant? It even has a paint shop on site.
Well, that's really important because you also have a Senator Bernie Moreno who has been very supportive of trying to get jobs back here. They say they're going to fast track a lot of these permits that used to slow down the transference of production from one location to another. But I think one of the big things that's absolutely true is that the production plants around the country are between 49 and 60% being utilized. What about the rest of it? It's just stagnant plant. So if you can use a plant that has been shut down, such as the one in Belvidere, Illinois, and you start building on those, or selling them to other brands, like Rivian ended up purchasing the one in Normal, Illinois, they can be used and permitted quickly to start transferring in some of the production. Now, we did hear that General Motors is saying that they're going to move some of their Mexico and Canadian production back to the U.S. Stellantis is going to do the same. They're building Ram trucks currently in Mexico. They used to be built here. So we need to bring those jobs back. But remember, there's also supporting jobs. It's not just the manufacturing. You've got all those sub companies. So for every union job that's added on, there's 7 other jobs that are being added to support that, whether they be suspension or components of some type, could be software, could even be accounting firms, marketing, advertising, event companies, all of that. That is all part of what people don't realize when you hire another person in the UAW to bring the production back. It actually impacts local communities in quite a dramatic way.
What's the timetable, do you think, roughly, for an automaker to take one of those plants, bring it back into production with a new product, and hire all the workers that would be needed?
Well, that's going to take some time. Existing production, if you wanted to move it here, it's hard to stop in the middle of production. They use what's called just-in-time inventory, so their inventory shows up, and then it's exactly at the time they need it. In some cases, some of the sub-suppliers are on site. So where you might find like a tire company that's actually making something for that plant right there or nearby, that's what they're doing in a lot of cases. So I think you're looking at about 6 months if it was existing production, but if they're going to make new changes, build something new and fresh, you might be looking at a year. But I think you can see a lot of production of components like drive lines, like engines and transmissions, where only 19% of them are being built here in North America. The rest come from Germany, Japan, China, and literally all over the world. That's what we need back. All those plants. If you had an engine plant, a transmission plant, a rear axle plant, a steel stamping plant, all of that can be done in a shorter period of time than the final production of a car. Again, they could pull some of that production from other countries and bring it back here. And the tooling is what they need to move. And then, of course, they have to set up. That does take time, but it brings jobs along the way.
Would they bring some of the parts back or just the full vehicle, in your opinion? Does it make sense to do any piecemeal to avoid tariffs, or does that not really work?
Well, according to how President Trump has the tariffs in place, it has to be final production. So if you've got current final production at the Lordstown plant, for example, if it was there and it was functioning, and you want to bring engines in, that would be great too, because now you're taking a plant that already has production and you're bringing the drive lines in. Now you're going to avoid the tariffs. If you're not going to do that and you're going to have your drive lines made elsewhere in the final production here, you're still going to get tariffed. So you're starting to see companies like BMW in South Carolina, the largest plant for BMW, they're going to start moving some of their engine assembly here, which is what we want, because that's jobs.
Yeah, and I talked to the local UAW president in Lordstown. He says they have 3,000 people on the wait list for the battery plant. Not sure if many or most of them would be interested in an auto job right next door. So we'll see what happens. But I really appreciate your time. We'll see how this all pans out, and we'll be checking in with you.
All right, great. Thank you.